Would you believe me if I told you that all the young people you see are Philadelphia public high school students that devoted their Saturday to talk about pressing issues in their community and how they could be remedied through their vote? It may be a little hard to believe because historically, young people in the United States have a significantly lower voter turnout rate compared to older US citizens in all elections, especially non-presidential ones. Yet, in every election, many Philadelphia-based organizations such as Pennsylvania Youth Vote, along with Philadelphia public high school teachers, have successfully engaged, educated, and empowered thousands of students from all over the city to make their voices heard.
We had a 157% increase in youth voter turnout among 18-year-olds specifically here in Philly. Just from 2014 to 2018. We had another big jump in voter turnout in 2022, where the 18-year-old vote actually was higher than the citywide average.
To better understand how they got these young people excited about voting, let's rewind. First, you need to understand the reason why young people aren't voting in the first place.
I think it's because of what they see on social media.
Well, I would say social media, but I would also say it comes from the household.
I think we have a low voter turnout rate simply because we just feel like our votes are not heard or counted, so we feel like what's the point of going to vote?
Some people will be saying like they gonna do this to fix it and they don't do nothing at all.
You have that role and you have this title and stuff like that, but like you're just using that to your advantage, but you're not like helping the people or whatever, helping the children.
Out of all of the responses we received, not one student said young people aren't voting because they don't care about the social issues on their ballot.
I often might do, just a quick engagement question, like what's going on in your communities, what do you see, like what's something do you want to change? And students always give answers that vary from gun violence to affordable housing, and they want to do something about it, just don't know what to do, and often they don't feel like they have the power to really move the needle on progress.
They just haven't seen government work, and so you add that to the lack of education, and they really don't see a purpose for participating in a process that never seems to benefit them.
So how has PA Youth Vote and Parkway Northwest been so successful in getting students excited and out to vote? First and foremost, you need to understand what good is voting information that young people don't engage with.
The adults, us teachers, the politicians themselves, aren't engaging them, right? It's not a matter of the youth engaging with politics, it's a matter with politics engaging the youth.
Politicians, they don't know how to meet the younger people's needs. They just know how to meet the needs of, older adults. They'll put things on the doors like magazines or like things on your doorknob, and most of the times young people probably don't check the mail or look at the doorknob, they'll just walk by it. But
maybe like trying to reach out to them in something like they would want to watch, like a social media post, maybe a TV ad with like a phone.
I'm going to use the Florida senator election as an example. The Democratic candidate, Ballot, she was always on TikTok. I saw her all over my For You page, and she got a great turnout of young voters because why? She used that platform. She knew that a lot of young people was on TikTok, a lot of young people was on Snapchat, a lot of young people was on Instagram.
I think like politicians now should maybe use like social media and other things my generation uses, like have a more modernized approach.
Politicians need to use that platform and they will get young people out to vote.
There has been a lack of education provided for young people around civics and how government works. And then when you add on to that, there has been disinvestment in public education, which creates situations where certain students, in particular students of color, students in low-income communities.
And I think that they, more than anyone, really need to learn these skills in order to be able to change the situation that they've been subjected to historically.
We should make a class for voting and kind of like break down how it works and show how important it is for everybody to vote.
When I came here, my teacher, Ms. Santana, she encouraged me to vote also, and that really helped me understand the power of voting and how my voice can be heard.
And it's my job to empower them through history, through civic engagement. Within my program in Peace and Social Justice, I often have commissioners, come out and speak to the students. I'll have community activists come out and talk to the students about voting. We'll watch videos about voting. We'll participate in interviews to let other people know our views about voting. We write articles about it. We are voting together. So doing that in school, what might that look like once they graduate?
And that engagement at a young age is so important because if they vote at a young age, if they get involved at a young age, they're probably going to stay engaged throughout their 20s. If they don't learn this in high school, they might not get involved and vote until they're in their 30s.
And that's so true. I can remember when I was 17 years old and Mr. Quinn explained the power of the youth vote to my classmates and I before the 2018 midterm election. Because of that curriculum that focused on civic education, I registered my classmates, family, and community to vote. And at the age of 22, I now consider myself a voter champion. The last strategy that was impactful in getting me excited and out to vote, that I believe that these organizations and teachers still successfully employ, is making a connection.
My experience has been in working with young people, when you help them connect those dots between the issues that they really care about and which are really impacting them to government and leadership and voting. They're very action oriented.
You make those connections, that's the main strategy, making the connections and then say, here's what you can do about it.
I want my students to know, hey, if you don't like this, you can do something to change it, and it starts with your vote.
I feel like a lot of people hear that, oh, it's just one vote. What can one vote do for the country? My vote is not going to change anything. It doesn't matter if I don't vote. I hear all those things all the time. And what people don't understand is there's so many close elections in this country, and that one vote can make such a difference.
For far too long in this country, young people have been discouraged to vote because of the misbelief that their one vote won't make a difference. And actually, it's the contrary. How will your voice matter if you don't vote? It's not enough for young people to complain anymore. It's time for them to take their ballot and the power in their own hands. What if all over the country, we gave young people their ballot by employing these 3 strategies to get them out to vote? Think of everything we could change.
As we continue to use our voice and create platforms for ourselves, elected officials will be forced to hear what we have to say.
If you give me a ballot, one thing I'd change is try to get the homeless people off the streets.
I would say school funding.
If I could change one thing, just how our communities look.
I think some abortion laws.
Decrease the cost of healthcare.
I want to make sure there's more recreational centers.
I would probably change the quality of our neighborhoods.
When you give us a ballot, watch us change the world.